I just pushed go live. It says we're live at the Devil's Bathtub Trail. Um, so we're just waiting for some people to come in. We will just wait. So are you showing that it's live on your phone?
There's a red dot, so yeah.
No, that red dot I put there.
Now I'm in live chat.
Okay, let me see.
I'm watching you.
It's like Inception.
What is it?
See how it says top chat? Hit that and switch it to live chat. Oh, now we got people in the room.
It's a live chat.
Jesse's Paranormal Adventure. Hey, hey. Welcome to the chat. Maybe the three buttons on the side.
Oh,
maybe those
right here.
Yeah. Hey, Frank. Welcome. We're just getting ready. We started just a few minutes live before the scheduled time. But we are. Where are you? Yeah. So who do you see as the last person that chatted? Okay. Yep. Devil's Bathtub. It is very creepy. So, John, why don't you come up here? So we're going to read a little history of the Devil's Bathtub here in a second. Hey, Jen, thank you for coming in. We're going to read, this is the Devil's Bathtub. It's the actual name. It's not even just a nickname. But we're in Honeoye Falls, Mendon Ponds Park. We've just got a small part of our group tonight. Just John and myself, the founding members of Random Encounters and Destinations. And then we have Bailey is here with us tonight. She's actually going to take the camera over here in a second when we make this trek down this stairway to the actual bathtub of the devil, Satan's bathtub. So we're going to do a little history here. We've just got an article, but anyone who's watching in the replay, all you have to do is Google the Devil's Bathtub, and you can get a whole bunch of cool stories. This has been in the past recent years. John's going to give you some of the history, but there's been a lot of other stuff that's gone on as well here. And John, why don't you go ahead and read?
I'm just going to jump right into in 2009, former college professor Timothy Wells killed his wife and drove to the Devil's Bathtub parking lot with her body in the trunk of his car, which would be this parking lot right over here. I do remember seeing this on the news while I was getting ready for work one morning. They have a live feed from here. He later claimed he planned to beat his dog to death with a rock and then kill himself with a knife. After failing at both of those tasks, he called 911 and told police what he'd done. Wells pled guilty and received a sentence of 16 years to life. Now, the more infamous relation to Devil's Bathtub is the Rideout boys, the murder of Craig Rideout. On June 21st, 2016, another 911 call brought a law enforcement back to this very parking lot. The caller said she'd seen a suspicious man removing a pair of medical gloves, throwing them into the trunk, and walking down a path towards Devil's Bathtub Pond. She grew suspicious and took a photo of the car and called police. Sheriff deputies arrived to find Alex Rideout sitting in the passenger seat of that car, then saw Kylan Rideout coming up the hill and emerging from the trailhead. It's going to be right around here. Investigators already knew who Colin Rideout was. They'd spoken to him the previous day, hours after his father's bloody and battered body was found wrapped in a tarp by a rural roadside. Now they had their first big break in the case. In the trunk of Colin's car was a black garbage bag full of bloody clothes. Forensics experts would later testify that blood belonged to Craig Rideout, and that DNA evidence linked Alex and Colin and their mother Laura and her boyfriend Paul Tucci. but that wasn't all. We should go down and finish this last. Go down.
Want to go down?
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll read
I'm gonna hand off the camera to Bailey so that you can see John and I stumble down this walkway. Bailey, every once in a while, ask chat if they can hear us okay, and then shout out any questions that people may have for us. And please be careful, obviously. You can share all this. This is the real site. All of this is really cool to look at. A little bit of a hike. Definitely a secluded area. Good for hiding bodies and body parts and all sorts of other murder stuff. That's my favorite. Oh, dang, it's not even walk. It's deceptively steep. It's just a little off balance, you know. How's this signal, really? Can you tell?
Looks good.
Yeah. Wow. This looks really cool. Got a little Camp Crystal Lake vibe going. How you doing?
Good.
The last sections.
Make sure you're speaking loud enough.
Yeah. So at the bottom of the trail where we are now, the investigators found another black bag floating in the Devil's Bathtub pond. It contained empty bottles of drain cleaner allegedly poured over Craig Rideout's body in an effort to disfigure his face and hands, making identification impossible. It also contained a pair of work gloves soaked all the way through with Craig Rideout's blood. Colin and Alex Rideout left the Devil's Bathtub in the back of a patrol car. They were arraigned on charges of tampering with evidence. Second-degree murder charges soon followed. Also charged was their mother, Laura Rideout, and her boyfriend, Paul Tucci. Prosecutors told the jury that 4 of them planned the crime, attacked Craig Rideout in the basement of his townhouse, and dumped his bodies by a rural roadside 50 miles away. In July 2017, jurors convicted Laura Rideout and Colin Rideout for murder and found Alex Rideout guilty of 2 counts of tampering. Tucci was acquitted on all charges. To this day, he does profess his innocence.
Cool. So that is the history of the most recent activity here at the Devil's Bathtub. We thought we would show this off because it's a unique kind of thing to have local to us. And hey, Poppin, thanks for coming in. Jen, still here. Thank you. You guys make sure you hit the like, hit the share if you can too. We just went live a little early than we had scheduled just because of the weather and traffic. And this isn't going to be a very long live stream. We're probably just going to kind of take questions from you guys. Maybe we'll do the necrophonic. I'm seeing all sorts of squirrels and wildlife. We do have the K2 meter. We can pop that on in a second or two. But really, you think about this area. I don't know if you want to scan up what we just walked down to people. How you doing, Carrie? Thank you for coming in. So we have a little bit of a chat delay because of, the way StreamYards works, and then we're watching on John's phone. Again, if anyone's watching this in the replay, I'm Jim. This is John, and we're from Random Encounters and Destinations. We do exploration and ghost hunting. Most recently, we were at Rolling Hills Asylum. Tomorrow, we have an interview with a gentleman that's got artifacts from another asylum in a neighboring town to ours. So we're going to be talking to him tomorrow at about 12:30. So if you want to hit your schedule reminders for that. So has anyone in chat ever heard of the Rideout murders or um, anything in this area? Dateline NBC did a real fantastic story um, on this whole case. It was pretty well publicized across the states for a while. It was a pretty national story. Um, Jen thinks that she has. That's cool. So let's just kick on the.
Someone wants to know if it's always been called that.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Well, it's a kettle. They call it a kettle. And I think it was in '69. I could be wrong. I looked it up on the Wikipedia. Someone named it Devil's Bathtub because of the way, it sits down in here. Um, when you Google Devil's Bathtub, there's probably dozens or so across the country and over in the world. But this one here, actually, if you hit it, is one of the first things that pop up because of the Rideout murders. And the weird thing is, the Rideout murders, Craig's Rideout body never was here, but the college professor that killed his wife actually brought her body up here. And that did get some coverage, but definitely not as much as the Rideout case.
I think I lived near where that college professor lived at the time. I keep hearing crunching of but it's either animals or there's people hiking. I think it's just to stand up, but I had it. The K2 is going on.
Oh.
Oh, maybe it's your phone.
It could be the phone.
Could
Oh.
be you.
It's frozen.
What happened? Did we lose it?
Mhm.
Uh-oh. Um,
We got you on the KC. That's the last thing.
all right, guys. I don't know if you can hear me. Hold on. How are we doing? Are we back?
We're dead right now. That might be.
Hey, Carol. So we are, looks like we had a little freezing issue. This is, huh?
Wait, now we're back.
Yeah,
We're just
because
on.
of the delay. That's the problem. We have a delay. So what do you think, John? Should we get the necrophonic out and do just a quick necrophonic? Or what do you want to do? You want to walk a little more of this trail?
I'm down here a few times. Obviously the bathtub is next. There's nothing. That trail probably goes on forever.
Think it goes all the way around?
No, I don't think it does. I think it goes that. Now on the drive in here, it's blocked off trails. So they might eventually spot up. So I was trying to think of when those guys came down here, assuming it's at night, this is probably where they had stepped into and gotten caught up into this stuff. And you would have had to launch that bag and it would have had to been weighted for it to be even in to go anyway.
Yeah.
So that was pretty foolish on their part.
And that's quite a big, that's a difficult, steep walk to drag a body. Like that first case was going to do with his wife and killing his dog and then himself. um, to try to, I don't know, like, would he just roll the body down? It's just,
Well, if he was that nuts, I think he was just going to be dragging it regardless of whatever, however he figured out how to do it. It'd be interesting to look into his story a little bit more to see exactly what he is doing or what his motivate. There has to be something on him, motivation or something.
yeah. But it's a great night. Like, we're lucky we have beautiful weather tonight. It's the one day of the week that's actually broke 80, even though I hate that.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping to be like 50s and clear and crisp.
We are officially into fall.
Next week we're supposed to be good.
Carol, he was going to kill his dog, but he didn't. What was that guy's name? What was Wills? Willis?
Stupid me, I could have just printed out the thing, but it's Timothy Wells.
Timothy Wells, yeah. So he had murdered his wife, Carol. Timothy Wells. He murdered his wife, and then take it easy, Frank. He brought the body here. Up this hill is the parking lot where we started, and he was going to bring the body down here and dispose of it into the Devil's Bathtub, and then kill his dog and then himself. But he never made his way down here with the body. He ended up calling 911 because he chickened out. He couldn't do it. So some call him a quitter, but he couldn't live with that on his conscience, I guess. How you doing, Charles? Yep. Frank is taking off. We're not going to be live for much longer, guys. Probably another, I don't know, 15 or so minutes. It's not a whole lot to show. It's a small area. We don't know that there's actual paranormal activity down here, but it's kind of an interesting story to have some pretty national news breaking local murder stories. Yeah, there's
Right now.
so many.
Look at there's Chippendale.
Can I zoom in? I don't
He
even know.
was like running towards us.
No, I can't. I don't know how to zoom in. Oh, there's a squirrel down there.
There's gonna be a fight.
Chipmunks and squirrels. Yeah.
Yeah, the chipmunk was in a dead bull this way. I think so.
Bailey, I stole the camera from you, didn't I?
Oh, that was cool. Can I see that bird? This is the fish. Small one. Yeah.
So with the Rideout murder case, this is where the two sons who were involved in the murder of their father. Oh, you should see this huge frog. There's a huge frog right there. But this is where they were coming to dispose of the cleaning supplies and all the bloody clothing. That is a huge frog. Carol, no, this has just always been referred to as the Devil's Bathtub. It's like the actual official name of it. It's actually a common name for ponds like this all across the country. When we were doing a little bit of a research for this location, like there's a bunch all over. Like we had to drill down just to find New York. So we do have some people coming. I don't know if you guys can see that frog. I don't want to get too far in. No, the the Wells gentleman was going to bring the body down here to dispose and then take his own life, but he couldn't get past the parking lot, so he did not. But who's to say how many unsolved cases there could be related to this? It's very easy to get to location. I don't know that it's very well monitored by police. Um, it's a common place for people to come hiking and fishing. I'm fixated on that frog. Jen, we don't know if there's been any bodies in there. The two particular cases that we just were speaking of, those bodies did not.
No, there was none.
The first one, the intention was to put her body in the pond, but he never made it. And then the second case, they were going to use this as where they dumped their bloody clothes and the chemicals, the bleach and whatnot that they used to clean the house after they killed their father. So, but that, that's the mystery. This has a history. There's a reason why those people chose this space. And like I said, not to be grim, but we don't know if there's anybody in this area. I mean, I think they dredged, if I remember the articles, John, and you can correct me, I think that they did dredge with the Rideout case to be certain that they got all of the evidence.
They did. They did the ends here.
But that was a couple of years ago already. So in the meantime, there could have been anyone else. Yeah, so the Rideout case is, like I said, pretty nationally known. If you do a quick search, it'll pop right up. And Dateline did a huge story on it. I think it was almost a full episode.
It was. It was actually a great story.
But yeah, it's a beautiful area to come. This is a huge park, right? Kind of smack dab in the middle of, our city. It's just one of a couple of really nice parks. It's nice seeing the change of the trees and the colors. It's a nice sign for cooler days ahead. Yeah, they dragged, I think the official term is dredged.
Right.
But, they sweep the lake, the pond, and dig out anything that attaches to their hooks. So it's a pretty neat. So Jen, this is Devil's Bathtub. It's in Mendon's Ponds Park, which is in Mendon's, New York, which is also what, Honeoye Falls. It's like kind of crosses over a couple of
Anyway, Falls,
couple of spots.
and then maybe a little bit of Pittsburgh. The edges of
Ugh.
Pittsburgh.
Whoop.
No?
So we want to do Necro or just keep it as a little tour?
You just wanna.
Yeah. I don't think that anything we get from the Necro would be difficult to attach, since we really,
Voice is right behind me that's carrying right down.
yeah, there's people hiking around. So for us to do any kind of paranormal investigation, we would be able to really accept much of the evidence. And yeah. We picked just the spot here because this is where they chose to dump the evidence that they had from the murder of their father. This little trail here just kind of goes a little bit further, but there are people down there. So we didn't want to disrupt, people with our filming. There's a gentleman with a couple of his young boys down there. They're fishing. And there's at least two people we saw walking their dogs. So we're just trying to be respectful this is a public park, and just, we're doing this. Not everyone wants to hear about the grim stories.
Why are you guys still walking?
Yeah, I would imagine we could probably put a canoe in here, Carol. Um, I think that's probably allowed, and I would assume people would go right down here to do it. You would have to carry that canoe down this trail.
There's a lot of kayaking. There's so many ponds here
Yeah,
that there's one that actually they call like a mini lake that actually is down a little ways that people do canoe and kayak and all that stuff and swim.
yeah. There's more than one pond.
That COVID shut that down. You can swim, but still you can kayak and all that stuff through the pond.
Yeah, yeah. This is the smaller of the ponds. If you look on the thumbnail, the little devil's bathtub that I have circled on the thumbnail, you can see there's two larger um, bodies of water. Feel bad for Bailey. I told her I was going to let her be the camera woman today, camera person, cameraman, and then I just took it over out of instincts.
Look at that tree right there. I know it's being silly.
Yeah.
The week I've had doesn't look like a cat that's like flat that's ran into a wall.
It does.
Like
I know exactly what tree you're talking about.
And it kind of looks like a devil if you look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's John's weirdness.
I don't know how I don't think I can zoom while I'm using StreamYard. If anyone knows how to zoom, put it in chat. I'm such a noob to these StreamYard live streams.
It won't let me.
I definitely love just this whole Camp Crystal Lake vibe. I really do. To come down here at night would totally change the whole feel of this area. Like right now, it's just like this peaceful, beautiful little hideaway, But at night, woo, it would be pretty scary. Definitely. Well, what do you think, John? Wrap it up? Should we try to make the hike back up the trail? We can do that while we're still filming. I'm actually impressed that the signal held up.
Yeah, that is pretty good, especially for being outdoors.
So you want to carry the camera back up? I don't know that I can navigate both.
About this,
So if any comments from you, Bailey,
Alrighty.
Well, actually, the walk up seems easier than the walk down.
coming down here on this.
Yeah, to drag a body down this would be extremely difficult. There's like a bizarre slant. Like, I don't know if it's just my perception.
No, it is. There's a point. There's some of these hidden points and steps here are new. Years back,
Oh, my butt cheeks. Wow.
To the light.
Holy cow.
Oh, hey, guys.
How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good.
Wow, what a hike. That is crazy. All right, so any comments?
Just some thanks for showing. And so steep.
So tomorrow is Thursday. At 12:30, we will be live. We are interviewing a guy who has memorabilia items from an asylum in that's now closed from Newark, New York.
I'm going to show you that.
Okay. Wait, on camera?
Well,
No.
no.
Okay. So we're going to sign off. Thanks, everybody. Hit the like, subscribe, watch the replay. Tell your kids all about the murders in Rochester at the Devil's Bathtub. You can hit end anytime. Woo!